Hello and welcome to Dungeons and Disabled, our continuation of Escape from Revel's End. I have Mike the Quad, hello, it's Colo, Morgan Baker, Siam, and Grant Stoner. Hello, everyone. How are you today?
Fantastic.
Sweet. All right, so let's do a quick recap of everything because it's been a little bit for us to be able to record this, but you know, might have been just only a week for you viewers and listeners. But here's a quick recap of everything that went down. Basically, Varen Riverbane Esquire has basically made you a prisoner in the Tower Keep of Revel's End. You were placed here to be able to do a special mission for him that the warden is keeping something in a box that has a dragon's head on it, and it's in the warden's office, and you are tasked to try to be able to get it before the 5 days are up, where you actually your prisoner records will be officially made official, and you will become permanent prisoners in Revel's End. And once you retrieve said item, then you can be able to escape at your leisure, as the letter said. You then found yourselves in the cells, and through some quick convincing of a guard to listen to the wonderful musical stylings of Odeon Sonum, was able to sneak to grab the keys from the guard. You're able to unlock your cells, and you've made your way to the cell of Prisoner 13. And Prisoner 13, you were told by Varen Riverbane that the Prisoner 13 should be able to help you navigate around the guard's patrols and navigate the prison itself, so that you can be able to make your way to the warden's office. You found Prisoner 13. You're just about to unlock her cell when Inga decided to, have a little group huddle that the Prisoner 13 can't hear, and you decided you wanted to take a vote on whether to trust Prisoner 13 or not, and that's where we're going to pick up. So, what do you do?
I'm trying to remember if I trusted him or not.
So basically, so you're kind of like huddling there, in Prisoner 13 is literally just kind of arms crossed, just kind of standing by the cell door, and you guys are in a huddle. Inga, do you want to put this to a vote?
Yeah, just remind me, Steve. Are we within earshot? Can Prisoner 13 hear us?
She cannot hear you.
Okay. So
you finally figured out how to be able to, whisper in a quiet voice. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I could figure that out in real life. That'd be really amazing. But
I know, right?
What is an inside voice? Who knows? So we're gonna take a vote, right?
Sure.
All those who feel that we can trust them, say now.
Okay, I don't think that we could trust them. However, I think we could use them. There's a difference.
I agree with that.
I have a feeling that this might be about me, and let me put your mind at ease. And so Prisoner 13 is kind of like now leaning up against the bars. Her arms are kind of hanging over the single bar, kind of just, her arms are kind of hanging outside the cell, and she goes, I have my issues with Varen Riverbane myself. There is something in the warden's office that I need. I can guarantee it is not the thing that you are after. But if I can get my hands on that one thing, it will guarantee in the future. My accent's going everywhere. I'm so sorry. It will guarantee in the future no other group can be brought here as prisoners again.
Steve, can I roll to see if this is like a lie? Can I?
Sure. Yeah, you can roll a insight check.
Okay. Oh god, that's a 2. I have a +4 though, so it's a 6. But I feel like that's really not gonna help at all.
So
Dying strong today.
A 6. I will say, even with a 6, it wasn't a critical fail. Even with a 6, you can tell this is the first time that Prisoner 13 has been her guard is completely dropped. This is the truth.
Okay. I want to look at everybody else. Like, is everybody else getting this? Like, what's everyone up to?
It's up to anyone if they want to roll an insight check on prisoner 13. You can do so as well.
I will.
Yeah, okay,
Sure.
let's go.
What is that? A D?
It's you roll, you do 20, but on D&D Beyond,
just click
it
it.
should be under your in the skill section.
Rotten got a 17.
I got
17?
14.
14. Okay.
I got
9.
Amen.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would say that for everyone, yeah, you. This is the first true statement that prisoner 13 has made. So Inga, you can tell that everyone,
everyone's got that.
everyone's clocked that. Yeah.
I think
I want to turn my chair. I want to wheel my chair round so I kind of block off prisoner 13 and kind of gesture to everybody to huddle in, right? So when you said, Rot, that we could use them, what did you mean exactly? Because if they don't want what we want, then
Well, I mean, they know their way around. I don't care what they want, honestly. But I don't know where to go from here.
But what if what they want is the exact same thing that we want too?
They did say that they promised. Right?
and I
above
think they were
tables?
telling the truth.
We believe that they're telling
Mm-hmm.
us the yeah. So.
And what that item is a guarantee that no other people would be brought here. And we all have experienced that this is not a good. So
Wait, does that
I'm
mean
on. Go ahead.
This is some kind of scheme? Like, this isn't the first time that they've done this to people?
Are you asking prisoner 13, or are you just asking that within the group?
I think I ask that to group, and then I turn around, wheel my one way down, one way up, and I snap round. My head snaps round. You mean they've done this before?
Countless
That's-
times.
Just thrown people in here.
How do you think I got in here, sweetie?
Oh, you failed. So how can we trust you if you're gonna?
Let's just say Mr. Riverbane has a lot more on me than he has on you.
Do you know what he has on us?
Not specifically, but he has his ways of finding information that no other law person is able to find. You know, being a Lord of Waterdeep can do that.
But so, not in the game, but just you. I know him, right? Riverbane?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Varn Riverbane, you know that name because your family has had dealings with him in the past.
I can just say that I believe her. I don't know if I'm comfortable doing the details, but I think this is our best chance. Because either that, or we're sitting ducks. And the longer we wait here, there's probably gonna be more guards coming. And I don't know if I can
speaking of
perform to
which-
everyone.
Speaking of which, it's up to you guys, but I want one person to roll a d20 for me.
Not it.
Just
I don't want that. on
But let's
me.
just say this: anyone who has a pretty good perception check or perception.
I have a +2.
I have a +5.
Whoa, you!
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
have
yeah,
plus-
I was
Accurate.
going to be like you anyway, because the other one was like, oh, we should go, immediately. Yes, let's do it.
So Grant, I want you to roll a d20 and then add your perception modifier.
Do you
So
want
basically
me
your
to
+5.
click Perception in D&D Beyond, or do a dice roller?
Yes, click on the perception on D&D Beyond. Yeah,
21.
yeah, you're okay. You're totally fine. I ain't gonna say what it is. Let's just say no, you passed. That's all I gotta say is you passed.
I'm leaning my vote towards yes to bring them.
Me too.
I say yes.
Just seems to be more positives than negatives. While the negatives are huge on some things that we don't know, but we feel like we can trust them, right? And they're not. They say that they're not gonna get the item that we're looking for, and that item that they are looking for could benefit other people from wrongfully being put into this place.
My mage hand just goes up above the group and gives a big thumbs up to Prisoner 13.
Well, at least I got one sign of approval.
We all just put our thumbs up.
Everyone is
I
putting
have
their
my
thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right then. Let's open this cell door and get to work.
No, that was a threat of a thumb war. Just kidding. I'll help you get out.
I like as
Later, sweetie.
As Rock puts their thumb up to go. That was a threat of a thumb war. Like I wanna rip round and grab Rock's hand and go to thumb to.
Sure. Okay. All right. You know what? Then we're gonna do a if we're gonna do that, we're gonna do a dueling
Contested roll.
athletics check. No, dexterity check. Contested dexterity check. So Rod and Inga, roll for dexterity.
Is this did you say this was an athletics check?
No, dexterity. Just straight dexterity.
Unnatural 20. Get a natural 20, Inga.
I did.
You both got a natural 20?
No.
Seriously?
No, mine was unnatural.
Okay, then I just okay, here it is. Both of you just roll a d20, just a straight d20. We're doing rollies.
I clicked it and I was like, what does that B mean? I've never seen that before. Oh! Took me a minute.
The beyond.
Okay,
we
so
don't-
yeah,
we
roll
don't
just a
add
straight
anything?
d20. No, nothing, no added because you basically both got 20. I just want to see who has the edge.
I got an 8.
An 8?
I got a 2.
Inga wins the thumb war.
I almost had you. I'll get you next time.
I think maybe I just took you by surprise and as I swung round, you just off your game. I feel like we could do a rematch later. I just thought it might make you smile.
It did make me smile. Thank you. All
It
right.
made me smile too. Can we get the door open,
Yeah.
please?
Rod would turn to. Is there a lock? Am I
Yeah,
just
so,
busting the sucker
yeah.
open, or what is this?
So Yasir has the keys, and you know which key to be able to open up the door because you've already opened up the cell doors before. So do you go to open up the lock?
So I look
Move out of
at
the way.
Yeah, I don't have the key, so I'll step away.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
use
so
here.
I get the right key and I look back at everybody and go ahead and put it in and click.
Okay, cool. All right, so the door opens and so prisoner 13 kind of stiffens up, kind of cracks her neck a little bit and starts walking. But I want anyone who wants to, it's up to you. Roll an insight check.
I got +4. Does anybody have more than +4?
This is not one of those. It's sort of this is to see if you catch something.
Okay, I'll roll.
15,
14.
14, 10.
17.
Anyone else? Which one? Sorry.
17.
17. Okay. Yasir, this actually works out great because you're the one kind of opening the door. Yasir, you kind of notice. You're the only one to notice, but as prisoner 13 is walking out the door, she has on her right leg, her right foot is kind of as she's walking, it doesn't, she's walking normally, but her right foot is kind of shuffles on the instead of actually fully lifts off the ground. But you're the only one who noticed. So, but you know what? The door opens and prisoner 13 is like, all right, this way. And I assume you want to get your equipment and weapons back.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes, show us the way.
All right, so I want everyone now to roll a stealth check for me. This is going to be a group's stealth check.
Oh no.
So if one fails, you can still do well. So yes, please everyone roll stealth.
14.
Let's go.
Okay.
So sorry. That's a 3.
7,
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
Oh my gosh, Inga, let's go.
Okay. Wait, who? Inga, did you get a 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
okay.
did. Yeah.
All right. I will say, you know,
girl.
as a group, and you're fine. Okay, yeah, you're fine. So, so Prisoner 13. If those who are like following along, like what you can have the map out if you want to, but as 13 kind of like leads you down the corridor to the north side of the hexagon. You basically reach the exterior sort of hallway that's kind of that kind of is around the prisoner's cells. You are at a intersection, and at like just the room ahead of you to the in the hallway ahead of you to the, and there's the room to the left. You do hear some talking within there. I want if anyone wants to, they can roll a perception check for me.
10.
10. Okay.
So,
Ooh.
yeah, that's a 20 from me.
A 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Like a natural 20 or just a
It's
dirty
a
20?
18 plus 2.
Okay, so dirty 20. Okay. So you don't really hear any specific conversation that's happening, but you do hear, you know, them talking about you can tell that it's the guards. Like this is the guards sort of like break room, and they're talking about guard rotations, and you know there was that one incident in the mess hall like yesterday that they're still talking about, but that's where the guards are. But Prisoner 13 starts to lead you to the west side, or basically to the left of the corridor. She kind of like basically puts up like a finger to her mouth to basically for everyone to be quiet. And then as you turn the corner, you walk past another sort of room and a little bit of a hallway to the right, but she kind of she walks past that into a door that is locked, but she says, okay, this is the storage room. All your equipment and weapons are in there. And as you know, as she keeps kind of like cycling through accents, you can't really tell what kind of like what her actual nationality is, but you could tell that it's like, you know, being in prison, you're around a lot of different people, so you kind of have like a weird sort of, you know, they kind of acclimate to the environment that they're in. And that is how I'm going to explain how bad my accents are.
That was actually beautiful.
That's great. Yeah.
That's a great excuse.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So if anyone has like is like adept at like lock picking or anything like that, you can be able to or Yasir, you're the one with the keys. If you want to take some time to be able to try to be able to find the right key for this door, you can, but you do have to roll a d20 in order to be able to see if a guard patrol is coming towards you. But if anyone is adept at lock picking, I will let you try to be able to do that, and you don't have to roll for it. So if anyone is adept at lock picking, you don't necessarily, like, even if you had like lock picking tools, I would say like you're probably pretty good. Or even anyone that has like anything that has like a +3 to like sleight of hand.
I do.
Okay.
You want me to roll for it?
Oh yeah, I have +C sleight of hand too.
Who has the highest?
We
Or
both
is it
have
basically you
+3.
both have a +3?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, either one of you can pick the
me to
lock
do
if you
it?
want to.
You do it.
Okay. So yeah.
You might want to take that back. I got that one.
Should I look for the keys?
Okay. So you don't like you put your like you found like you have like a little stick that you basically just found in your hair that you know from a fight from before, and you kind of like put you put it into the lock, and
Everyone
the
does.
little twig kind of breaks. Like you kind of like you didn't realize your strength was a little too high at the moment. You're like, and it just kind of breaks. I'm like,
I'm still in thumb war mode.
okay. But because of that, I also want Sam. I want you to roll a d20 for me.
Why?
And add your
No way, I got another one. There's no way.
okay, all right. So around the corner, you do see a guard that is coming down the hallway towards you guys. Prisoner 13 kind of like kind of recognizes the guard, and she goes, Carlos. Oh, it's so good to be able to see you. This is, we're on Varan duty, and I want actually, she's gonna roll actually a persuasion check, but also, by the way, Grant, Carlos used to be a guard at your family estate. And as you know, okay, I'm going to roll for basically, I just got to grab Prisoner 13 sort of deception. She has like a +9 to that.
Can I charm person on Carlos?
You know what? You totally can. And because Prisoner 13 was going to roll a deception, I will give you advantage. So because she's helping you. So if you want to be able to cast the charm person spell, you can.
How do I just say cast?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I second level it?
You can if you want. I mean, you are limited to second level spells, but you can totally do that. Yeah.
I'm gonna first level it.
Okay. Yeah. But you have advantage, so you can cast it and roll again if you want to.
Alright, so I'm gonna just like cast, right?
Yep, that's it. Oh shoot! Actually, there is no like actual check for it. I don't think. Sorry. I'm just realizing that now because it would not come up as such. I think then for you, let me just double check your. So you wanted to charm person. Oh yeah, I have to do. Okay, that's it. I have to roll a wisdom saving throw. Okay. Then in that case, because it's advantage. Never mind. I'll just roll at disadvantage. That's how that works. Okay, so roll a 15. So that's a pass. Let's see what the Carlos does. Oh yeah, that's a natural 1. Okay, yeah, you totally charmed the person. Yeah, you totally charmed Carlos. What do you?
It's not just me.
Carlos, it's so good to see you.
Oh, it's Odeon. I remember you.
I would hope so. Remember
Oh
the
my
nights we
gosh!
used to
Give me a
play?
high five, buddy.
My hand just raises up and high fives him.
Oh, I haven't seen you in forever.
I
What do
know,
you guys
that's the
need?
point.
You guys need to get in the storage room? I can totally get you in the storage room.
We would love to. You see, I have a gig in this very establishment right now. You remember
No
my days at
way!
home? I do. If you could get my instruments for me and my friends dear, that would be beautiful.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Oh man, the buds are gonna really love this. So he goes and
Why
walks
don't
over,
we
has like
not
a set
tell
of keys.
the bugs about this? Why don't we just keep this between us, huh?
Oh no, I mean like they're excited to be able to see you play. I've seen you play before. You were good, so they're gonna be great. But I mean, if you want to keep it, if you want to keep it quiet, I got it. I'm so
It's a
worried
new
about
song I'm working on.
Oh, man, you're so talented. So he goes over and he kind
I'll
of
stop.
unlocks the door, and he kind of opens the door and just kind of like he kind of does an ushering motion for y'all to kind of come in. Like, do you want me to stay outside and keep it famous bards like yourself? You kind of need like a little bit of like a bodyguard. Do you need a bodyguard?
Do you remember the game we used to play when I was a wee tiefling?
Yeah. You
Alright.
want to do that?
We're gonna do the exact same thing. You shout the code word.
What was the code word again? I can't remember.
Legs.
Legs. Got it. So if I see anything, I shout legs.
Good job. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you too, bud. I mean, we'll have to catch up later, but hey, do what you gotta do. If this is your band, yeah, totally go in and be able to practice if you need to.
And I just
So-
whisper under my breath, Jesus, what a complete dumbass.
You walk in and you all basically can find all your stuff. Like it's all kind of like it hasn't really been fully processed yet, but you can kind of see like your prisoner number is on a shelf, and and literally all your stuff is like kind of like right there. So now everyone is wearing all their you put on your armor, you put on your clothing, and then you also grab all your weapons and stuff like that too, and all your packs. Everything is there. So you're now all loaded up, and Prisoner 13 goes, "Wow, I've seen some dumbasses in my day, But Carlos, whoo, he takes the cake.
There's a reason he never got promoted. And that's all I'll say about that.
Fair enough, fair enough. All right. Now we need to get ourselves upstairs. Do you think Carlos can be able to take us upstairs to the warden's office?
Carlos, we have a new mission for you.
Come on, buddy. Let's go do it.
Alright, we're gonna save the code word. Take us upstairs. That's where we'll be performing.
Upstairs. Got it. Okay. By the way, charm person works for an hour, so you like, so we're like he's your best bud for like an hour. I know that's sort of similar to the cast the spell Friends, but like because there's a rapport, it's kind of like that sort of friendly atmosphere kind of comes out. So yeah, I'm like Prisoner 13's like, this is the easiest mission I've ever been on.
You should have just told me he was here from the first place.
Hey, I don't know how. Where is your family from?
I just look back to the group, and I look back to 13 Carlos. Well, since we're all in this predicament, are you familiar with the Sonam Arms family?
Oh, you're Sonam, aren't you?
The very same?
You're the one.
And I would like to keep it that way, but people don't know.
Do any of us know? Does this sound familiar to anyone?
I will say at the mention of Sonam, anyone can roll if they want to. I guess roll. Let's go with a history check.
Ooh, yeah.
If anyone wants to
I'll definitely do that.
see if they remember or know the name Sonam.
That's a 18 for me.
14.
25.
25.
Yeah,
definitely
a nat
did.
20.
Nat 20?
Yeah.
Not only do you know the Sonams. The Sonams is a well-known family who provides weapons and arms to nations. This is not like a group of bandits or like a few kind of like adventuring parties here and there. This is like they supply weapons and armor to warring nations. They are totally like a multinational arms dealer. I would say on a nat 20. Grant, it's up to you. How much would Yasir might know of you specifically, or of any members of the Sonam family?
He knows about the crippled boy of the Sonam family. And he knows about the lack of an heir to the fortune.
And I will say, Yasir, you kind of put the two and two together. You are talking to the same person.
Wait, quick note. Would I know any of this? I got a 21.
Yeah, 21. I would
Not
say
a nat
you know of the Sonam family, but you may not know of the members of the Sonam family.
Got it.
And on an 18, would that be
Same thing.
okay?
And Morgan, what did you get?
I got a 14.
Yeah, you heard of the name. That's it. Okay. So unless anyone wants to continue, we can continue forward if you like.
As we continue forward, Rod's gonna lean into Inga. I don't know who this Carlos is, but I think I'm in love.
With who?
That guy. Pointing at Carlos.
He's very.
By the way, you look over and kind of Carlos kind of just starts walking, and you kind of suddenly see, as the light kind of like from the flames and the sconces, they kind of like lights his face a little bit, and he's got like that kind of like sort of like disheveled hair, kind of like a little bit of like a 5 o'clock shadow, and just the way the kind of light hits the side of his face. Yeah, he's
Blushes.
yeah.
I think I don't know whether Rot would pick up on this, but there's just a slight crestfallen disappointment across my face, like my shoulders, as when I say with who and you say that guy, my shoulders just kind of go down just ever so slightly, and I'm like, oh, and then like pick myself up again. Oh, I mean, we could ask him to join us. Maybe
Don't do that. I'd be too
you could get to know him.
No, it's fine. She just kind of like trails a little bit behind.
Do I hear
Never
this?
seen her get all like nervous.
I'd say, yeah, you could probably hear a little bit of it if you want to ease in, or you can continue. Yeah,
My
yeah,
chair
that's-
just turns around, my mage hand points to Carlos, and my eyes are like,
Look us up.
wait, let's get out of here and then I can.
Thank you.
I will say, Carlos, Grant, but he's not one of the ones responsible specifically.
Right.
Yeah.
And I only know his charmed personality, so I'm just like, well, this golden retriever energy is my kind of man.
Oh yeah, he's totally giving off golden retriever like energy, 1000%. Actually, you see, you see, wow, I'm actually blanking on the name. Hold on. I want to bring it up. What's the?
He's like a himbo.
Like a total himbo.
And my cotton's like a shimbo, so it's like we're great for each other.
Shoot, what is
This
the
is
what is the what is the
entertaining.
corgi's name? I'm blanking on the corgi's name right now.
Oh, Kibler!
Kiblet. Okay, yeah. So Kiblet is kind of like walking beside Morica, and it kind of like he kind of like sees this react and it looks over at Carlos and he kind of wags his tail like a little a very quick very happily. It's like, oh, he recognizes a puppy when he sees one. A charmed puppy when he sees one. So yeah, as you kind of Carlos is kind of leading you towards, and he's kind of talking to you, Odeon, and he's like, so how you been? How's been the musician biz going? Like, is everything you doing good?
It's one of the best things I've ever done in my life. By the way, mom and dad, they're not really looking, are they? Right?
I don't know. I haven't been back there in 5 years. I mean, last I heard, yeah, but they haven't really kind of looked for a while. But there hasn't been any word in a while. So wow, I mean, but hey. So yeah, as you guys are kind of walking towards the stairs, I want everyone to roll. Actually, I want one person. You know what? Actually, because you got Carlos with you, I was going to have someone be able to roll for another guard patrol. But as you see, actually, as
I'm
you're kind
not
of
rolling anymore.
yeah, no, I would say as you're kind of walking up the stairs, you see another guard, kind of walking down the opposite direction as Carlos is leading the group up the stairs towards the second level, and he kind of goes he goes over to Carlos and says, Carlos, what are you doing with this group of prisoners? And he says, oh, this guy, he's gonna perform for us a little bit later. Jacob, you gotta come out, and you gotta come out, and you can kind of see he's kind of a little convinced. Is like, okay. Doesn't think much of a person in a wheelchair, but I want anyone who wants to be able to talk to him and kind of help kind of this sort of deception. Actually, I would say even Grant, if you want to roll a persuasion as well.
What's everyone's persuasion? Are people good at it?
Plus
I'm
6.
+2.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a bard. That's a bard for you.
I don't say anything.
So yeah, I would say then Grant, roll
I
persuasion.
suck. Nat 1.
Nat 1?
No.
Okay, you know what? Because you have charm guard on, I will say you can roll that at advantage. So roll again.
Oh, thank you, God. Good job. Alright. Persuasion. Ooh, 22.
22. Okay. So what do you say to Jacob as they're kind of conversing, to kind of back up this sort of this lie that Carlos is talking or telling?
Jacob, surely you've heard of the Solemn game at every tavern and music hall across the lands. Surely you've heard of our songs.
Oh, the Sanonge. Oh man. Oh, this is gonna be a good show. Should I tell the others? Like this is gonna be great.
Why don't you tell nobody, and you just let us upstairs, and then we can tell
Surprise
everyone
gig.
through. Yes.
Surprise. Yes. Okay. Shh. All right. Yeah, mom's the word. Oh man, this is gonna be so great. And he kind of just continues walk down the stairs. You guys, y'all are lucky, because he ain't easily convinced too. So that 21 definitely helped out a lot for sure. So as he kind of leads upstairs, you kind of can see if anyone, they have the map open still, that you kind of like walk up. So the stairs is kind of like a circular stairway and kind of like in the center of the hexagon that kind of like walks towards it. And then you can see that there are 3 rooms kind of like on each sort of side. Like the warden's office is on the top or like the sort of the northeast side of the hexagon. There's a trial. There's a room labeled trial. That's where all of the adjudicators and everything, like parole hearings, all that stuff, that is filling basically both, like all the entire west side of the hexagon, both north and south. And then on the southeast side is an office. So
have we already gone up these stairs? Sorry, Steve.
Yes, yeah. You totally, like Carlos has kind of led you up the stairs. So right now, there's not a lot of guards here. If anyone wants to be able to make a perception check, you can.
I'll
As
try.
far as you know.
Can we explain about the combat wheelchairs, like, and how they go upstairs?
Yeah,
'Cause I
sure.
don't-
If you
I don't-
want.
Did we do that in one of the previous episodes? I'm not sure.
I don't think we have, because I don't remember.
Cool. I think, am I right in saying Odeon is in the lead? So would yours go up first, I guess?
Oh, I didn't know I was in the lead, but if you want.
Yeah, you're kind of falling in behind both Prisoner 13 and Carlos. So yeah, if you want to describe how the chairs are kind of walking or going up the stairs.
For me, my mage hand puts my flute to my lips, and I start playing a little tune, a little melody, and then my chair will slowly levitate upward with the higher notes. And so I
Okay.
just keep playing higher notes as we go up the stairs.
Oh man, Carlos is like, kind of like grooving along. It's like, oh man, that you're so good with that flute, buddy. Like, I miss that. I really do miss that. And Inga, how does yours float up, or how do you get up the stairs?
Mine is not anywhere near that majestic. I wish it was. Wow, that's really cool. And I think like you see that in Inga's face, like as Odeon goes up, there's like a look of amazement of like, I did not know that was an option. Like,
Yeah,
nobody
you're
told
making-
me I could do that. Like that is.
Yeah, you're now
that is
making
my
a
face
mental
right now.
note to try to be able to like, to try to be able to figure out how to be able to do that later.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And I think
you're-
I'm gonna lean into Rot and be like, nobody told me I could have a theme tune. As I reach under the left side of my wheelchair seat, and you just see my hand disappear, and like a very faint pale green light emits from under the bottom of my chair as my chair levitates up, and it's a bit clunky. It's a bit like the chain on a bicycle when it hasn't been oiled in a little while. Like this levitation is a little bit chunky, but like I gradually go up piece by piece, and every time my wheelchair rises to go over the next step, the light gets a little bit brighter. So
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. I like that. Actually, Kibla kind of like is so fascinated by this. Like he kind of like runs up and down the stairs, but kind of like runs underneath the chairs and just kind of like is kind of like looking up, and it just real like as it's kind of like just floating up, and
I'm kind of trying to like shoo Kibler away from underneath my chair because like this could be dangerous. Like I don't want to fall. Like trying to shoo Kibler out of the way.
He can help himself. Wait, but can we have Kibler when he's running up the stairs? It's not that he runs like one at a time with his paws. He's jumping like a bunny, hopping each stair up.
Yep,
Like
totally.
a little corgi butt where it just like goes in the air.
Yeah, like whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yep, 100%. Yep, totally. All right, and so as you as you make your way up the stairs, anyone wants to be able to anyone wants to roll a perception check for me?
Got you a nice 4.
Nice
You don't
4.
want mine.
Okay.
I got a 13.
Anyone else?
Okay, go ahead.
Mine's a 12.
Okay.
I got
11.
6.
We're doing
11.
great.
Okay, yeah, no,
So
pretty much
perceptive.
We're all
everyone.
fascinated by these stairs.
You kind of like you're listening in. You're also kind of like keeping an eye out as you're kind of walking up the stairs, and you get to the top and you see like the different sort of rooms that are up here, and there are currently no guards that you can be able to see or hear anyone walking around. So you do know that the warden's office is just to the north, in the north hallway, and the door is on the is on the right. So Carlos is like, so where do you need to go?
The warden's office, please.
Okay, we're doing the performance there. All right, sounds good. Okay, and then we walks over towards the warden's office and starts to unlock the door to to the office, and you walk. He opens up the door and as you look inside, there actually is no one in there at the moment. But you do see that it is brightly lit. There is a kind of a large desk, heavy desk in the middle of the room. It has a bunch of like parchment and quills and ink at the ready. There are 5 heavy wood cabinets that line the east walls. Prisoner 13 it kind of like doesn't want to like wants to say something, but realizes that Carlos is kind of there and doesn't want Carlos to hear. So he's kind of like, she's kind of like giving a gesture to Odeon to be like, get this guy out of here.
Carlos,
Yeah, buddy, what's up?
we're doing legs again. Way outside the door for me.
You got it. All right. Okay. You guys you need anything in here? You got your rehearsal space? I can get you like water or anything like that, like or meat. Anything you need while you're in here?
Water sounds good.
I can get you water. I won't be able to guard the door, but I can get you water if you like.
I like desperately look around at everybody else. Like,
I'll
have I
guard
made a
the
mistake?
door. Carlos, I'll take your spot. And wait for you to
Oh,
come
you're
back.
the best. All right, cool. All right, I'll go get some water. Yeah, he kind of like walks away, and you can kind of and Rot, you're just
The
kind
pep
of
in her step, she just kind of I'll sit right here and do his job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As you're kind of like you're kind of just inside, but you're kind of like leaning out a little bit into the hallway as Carlos kind of walks away. Yeah, it's pretty good looking from the back. So there's that. Anyway, so yeah.
I just say Rot. He used to carry me up and down the halls of the manor. In case you're wondering.
No reaction. Okay. Fine.
I think like I move away from this. I don't want to be in earshot of this conversation. I'm moving.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we only have a few minutes to be able to look around. Try to find a locked cabinet. And she knows where she needs to go because there is she kind of goes in behind the desk and starts to kind of pick away at the lock on a very specific drawer in the desk. But does anyone want to start looking for the specifically locked cabinet?
I'm not looking.
a guard.
I'm watching Prisoner 13 like a hawk.
I could definitely look.
Okay. Then yeah, you can definitely take a look. So you do see at least that there are 2 locked cabinets, kind of, and the other 3 are kind of they're not really like they're kind of like they're not. It doesn't look like that there's a lock to them, but there's definitely 2 specifically locked cabinets in there. And you can either you don't have a specific. There's no the key that you have is not for the lock, so you will have to whoever's adept at lock picking will need to sort of find a way to be able to get into it.
Okay.
Morica.
I don't
Because
know
I'm
if I
guarding.
am.
We have the +3 to sleight of hand.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah. If you want to, unless
Remember, because you told me to do it and I got us a 1.
Yeah, I have +3 sleight of hand too.
I'm guarding.
okay.
What should I do?
If you're using your sleight of hand, yeah. So basically, I want you to click on the number beside sleight of hand to see if you can be able to break the lock.
Okay, fingers crossed. I got a 19. Cool.
19.
Hey.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, you kind of like you kind of slip your fingers through with the kind of like a bit of you don't really necessarily have lock picking tools, but you do have like you're pretty adept at being able to like utilize pretty much anything. So you kind of like look through your pack and you do
I got
find like
buttons, you know, you take them out of my hair kind of like falls down a little bit more.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah, you use this before. You use those things before, and they're pretty easy to be able to kind of lock. It's a pretty small lock, so yeah, you're able to open it up, and on the inside, as like you do see like a bunch of different papers and you know, some odds and ends and some, you know, like small little bags of gold pieces. But if you want to make a let's say just a straight perception check, I can let you know exactly what is on these sheets of paper or these ledgers.
Yeah, sure. Perception. Look at that. And I got a 15 for that.
15 with that. Okay, so basically, yeah, you can see that it's there are some prison records. They also have ship cargo manifests and records of past deliveries, as well as like prisoner transfer orders, and a ledger documenting the names, crimes, sentences, and commutations of every prisoner who has ever been incarcerated at Revel's End. The records all include death certificates for prisoners who died while incarcerated. The cause of death is always given as natural, accidental, or unnatural, with no details. You do see a lot of quote unquote accidental deaths, and you can see that the prisoner transfer, there's always like on that ledger, there's always a column for the like the guard or the captain basically that processes each prisoner as they come through, and they're also like, that's kind of like their signature to be able to like to log of like sort of like the deaths of any certain of a prisoner. And you do see that there is a Captain Vance that is signed to every single prisoner that has listed as a death as accidental. You see that they're also the ones that were processed by Captain Vance, and you also notice that the dates on them are from the time they were processed to the time of their deaths was in 5 days.
Wow. First of all, my person is extremely perceptive. Guys, I found this paperwork and this is like really suspicious. These deaths don't look right, and I think that there's something going on here in this prison.
Oh, that is what I was looking for. And Prisoner 13 kind of like pops up and like it starts to kind of come over to you, I it's up to you basically. Like she kind of looks over like and kind of looks over your shoulder as you're holding the papers, and she's like, "This is everything that I've seen. This is everything that I'm looking for. I can finally get out." She kind of like
What does all this mean? Do you know more about this? Will you tell us?
Vance is one of the worst people I have ever met. Vance works for my father.
And who's your father?
I am Kara Riverbane. He sent me here as a good little soldier to do his dirty work. He sends in people like us here all the time. Whenever he needs something. Revel's End is the connecting point for so many. He smuggles in so much through Revel's End, and he sends in people like us. And he kind of, everyone like Mike, you remember that you noticed that that Kara was shuffling her feet before, and Kara leans down and unbuckles her boot, and you can see that it is actually it's a wooden leg. It's like a wooden leg from the knee down, and she says, "This is finally anything I can get out from under my father's thumb.
Do I know her?
When you heard the name Kara, you have heard of a daughter of Riverbane, but nothing more than that.
So when you say people like us, you mean
She kind of like looks down at both your wheelchairs, at Yasir's arm, the amputated arm, and people like us.
Disabled? It's okay to say it.
Yes, the disabled ones. And I can guarantee that whatever is in that box is whatever he's just smuggling in. And he doesn't care how, he doesn't care about what happens to you. I've seen so many people come in here and do his dirty work and die through whatever circumstances. And I am sick and tired of it. I want out. And if you want out, I suggest we get out together.
Rot's outside the door still. Things are still looking great over here.
Things are not looking
I don't
great
think she's
either.
heard anything. As she peeks her head in.
Oh, everyone looks very sad.
I think I'm gonna wheel over to Rot and like take her hand and say, like, as with like the gentlest eyes possible, they've done this before to other disabled people. It's a cycle, and the evidence is here.
Can't wait to destroy him. She takes her hand away and like cracks her knuckles.
And like, and
Also,
I,
I had
I
to
laugh. And it's partly like because it was funny, but it's also like, oh my god, you know when somebody like really needs to laugh, and it's just like, it's like a total overreaction.
And then Rot's like, shh.
And Kara kind of starts to chuckle a little bit as she kind of wipes the tears from her eyes, and
I'm like immediately silent when Rot goes shh. It's like immediately cuts off.
So as she's Kara is like, this is what we need, and she holds up the papers. This is what we need to get out. This is what we need to finally get out. Who is with me?
I'm with you.
Let's get out of here.
My hand just gives a big thumbs up.
We're all gonna get out of here.
I echo the thumbs up. I match the thumbs up from everyone.
All right, and as she's like, all right, let's get out of here. And then, Rot, down the hallway, you see coming up the stairs, you see Carlos, and he's like, hey, they're right here. Like they're about ready to be able to get a performance. I mean, yeah, if you want to meet him, you can totally could. And you see a captain of the guard walk up behind, and you see a very large half-red dragonborn and be walking up in behind. And that's where we're going to end this episode, and we're going to come back next week for the finale of Escape from Revel's End. We'll see y'all next time. Next week.
My
Don't worry.
heart.
I'll
That was such a
protect you all.
twist. Very twisty.